Good evening, a warm welcome to State of Business RTV's Prime Time News Bulletin with me, Rukshi Panditaratna. Let's take a look at the headlines first. President Sirisena returns to Sri Lanka from his state visit to Qatar, and Harsha De Silva condemns Ceylon Electricity Board. And today on Top Stories, President Maithripala Sirisena returned to Sri Lanka after his two-day state visit to Qatar. During his two-day visit, the president met Emir of Qatar, Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, and had bilateral discussions. He also held discussions with the Qatar Foreign Minister and the Qatar Prime Minister during the course of his visit. During this meeting, discussions were held regarding the strengthening of the economic, trade and tourism ties between the two countries. President Sirisena briefed the Qatari Premier about investment opportunities in Sri Lanka in the fields of power and energy. President Sirisena, expressing his views, said that Sri Lanka will maintain a balanced foreign policy to work with all the countries in the world in a friendly and cooperative manner. He also stated that the new agreements signed during this visit will further increase the economic, commercial and technical cooperation between the two countries. The president pointed out the importance of increasing the cooperation among all the countries in the world in an era when the entire world is connected through modern technology. President Sirisena also invited the Qatari Premier to pay a visit to Sri Lanka. An energy forum organized by the Public Utilities Commission of Sri Lanka was held in Colombo last evening under the theme Energizing the Nation Framework for Energy Security. Delivering the keynote address, Deputy Minister of National Policies and Economic Affairs Harsha De Silva expressed his disappointment over the absence of Ceylon Electricity Board at the forum and for failing to cooperate with the PUCSL. The Deputy Minister disclosed that the estimated loss of the Ceylon Electricity Board for the first 6 months of 2017 was reported to be 30 billion rupees, and the CEB's debts to the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation was reported at 40 billion rupees for the first 9 months of 2017.
If the CEB is not able to participate in a public discussion, there is no point in entertaining these kinds of people. So let me, on behalf of my minister, the Prime Minister, express our deep disappointment that the Ceylon Electricity Board has been very unprofessional by not participating in this important forum. And we will deal with this appropriately in time to come. The Cabinet Committee didn't approve some of the proposed coal plants. Now there is an argument there whether we did the right thing or not. I'm sure we can discuss it. But the proposed coal plant in Sampur was not approved due to major environment concerns. Instead, they had decided to go ahead with tendering for LNG plants. CB has already floated to procure power from 300 megawatts in Kerala and investments of 500 megawatts, natural gas terminals, etc. Now the issue is, why are these things not happening? What happened? What has happened to the LNG procurement? Why is it stuck? Is it the government's fault it is stuck? Is it the CB's fault it is stuck? Whose fault is it? I mean, I'm not here to place blame, but I think in this open discussion, we should find out what the problem is so that we can find solutions. I have sat in multiple CCM meetings where multiple excuses have been given why it is delayed. 6 people bid, 5 people were disqualified, only 1 person was selected. That person didn't have a proper bid. What happens now? Now what has happened, I understand, is no CEB engineer is sitting on the procurement, the boards, tender committees and the boards. So that's a hell of a, how do you do now? Are we being held to ransom by certain people? And then of course the allegation comes straight back to the government. Government doesn't want to do it because it wants to procure electricity at high prices.
Addressing the Energy Forum last evening, energy expert Dr. Tilak Siyabalapitiya stated that the cost of different alternatives to meet the demand for electricity has come closer to each other over the last 4 to 5 years, with the oil prices coming down.
Naturally, is a sad story. I would like to summarize and say that we bought a Chinese product for a Japanese price. That's my summary. And we can, of course, discuss who chased away the Japanese and the circumstances in which the Chinese came in and built that power plant. The power plant is operating at a 65% annual capacity factor. I would have preferred to run it at the designed 80% annual capacity factor. But if the power plant was not there today,
Navaloka College of Higher Studies NCHS, which is partnered with the Swinburne University of Technology in Australia, conducted its third graduation ceremony in Colombo last evening. The graduation ceremony was held under the aegis of State Minister of Finance Eran Wickramaratne, Special Acting High Commissioner to Australia Tim Huggins, and Deputy Vice Chancellor of Swinburne University David Coltman.
During the ceremony, over 250 students graduated after successfully completing their higher studies. In addition, 18 graduates earned scholarships to Swinburne University in Australia in recognition for their high performances, whilst 15 were felicitated with top awards in recognition of their academic skills.
We live in a society where there is systemic corruption and a lack of accountability. As you come starry-eyed, maybe to the private sector or to the public sector of this country, you have a great role to play. Ignorance is bliss, but it's not a virtue. So beware and be prepared that as you succeed in your personal careers, that you have to serve the common good. And therefore, ethical conduct is absolutely essential. Sri Lanka will not make sustainable, equitable progress unless our young professionals are armed both with knowledge and with principles. As part of this country's youth, you must be aware that there are challenges ahead. Young people must be the vanguard of change in this country.
Swinburne University and NCHS awards scholarships to the best performing students in recognition of high achievements in global academics.
Education has always been a very important part of the Australia-Sri Lanka friendship, going right back to the 1940s and 1950s under the Colombo Plan, and we're fortunate to still know some of the students who went under the Colombo Plan at that time, who have since come back and made a huge contribution to Sri Lanka. This year, our Foreign Minister announced a new program which would reverse that concept and bring young Australian graduates who are studying in Australia to Sri Lanka to learn from you. And the idea is, under what she dubs the new Colombo Plan, or the reverse Colombo Plan, is to bring people into the region from Australia so that our young people in Australia make friends in the region, make business networks in the region, and our country becomes increasingly enmeshed in our own region. As graduates, you have the opportunity to advance your own careers, and I'm sure with a great qualification behind you, you will rise. But you also have the chance to make a big contribution to Sri Lanka's society and Sri Lanka's future. It's a bright future, and it's one in which there are many career options for you, and your career options are limited only by your imagination. So, if I may, I'd encourage you to go out and get some international experience by all means, but bring it back home to Sri Lanka, because Sri Lanka needs you to make a contribution here.
See you after this break. Welcome back. The Governor of the Central Bank, Dr. Indrajit Kumaraswamy, stated that the country is now in the midst of the most favourable set of economic circumstances. He also elaborated the initiatives taken by the government in order to strengthen the economic state of the country. Dr. Kumaraswamy made these remarks addressing a ceremony in Colombo last evening.
We are potentially on the cusp of a major transformation. Sri Lanka at this point has many positive attributes which, if we are able to grasp the opportunity, will take this country on a much faster trajectory of growth and development. And now that I am part of the system, I can see at close hand that there are some very good plans. In the central bank, we feel we are making progress in terms of stabilizing the economy. There's still some way to go, but we feel we've made a start. The government has some impressive development programs. It's undertaking reforms to strengthen the investment climate and the trading environment. So there are lots of positive things. In addition, we are 20 miles from the fastest growing large economy in India. We're right in the middle of the maritime Silk Route, the China's maritime Silk Route. We have excellent relations with all the major countries, and the dynamics of the geopolitics of the Indian Ocean region as such that everybody has taken a renewed and greater interest in Sri Lanka and want to be involved in our development process.
The premier international packaging exhibition, Lanka Pack 2017, organized by the Sri Lanka Institute of Packaging, together with the Packaging Development Centre, was inaugurated in Colombo this morning for the 18th time. Addressing the media at the event, Minister of Special Assignments Dr. Sarath Amunugama disclosed that large-scale investments will be made by the Chinese firms in the manufacturing sectors of the country, while 300 new industries are planned to be located in Hambantota. Speaking further, Minister Amunugama noted that the future seems bright for the packaging industry within the country.
The three-day exhibition comprises of over 150 stalls displaying thousands of brands to meet all kinds of packaging requirements under one roof. Top speakers and experts, both local and international, are expected to address the exhibition on recent trends and innovations in the packaging industry. The packaging clinic would assist in personalized advice on any packaging aspect. Advisory services on packaging are available to small-scale entrepreneurs as well.
If we are a manufacturing hub, I think it will be very easy for us to go into the markets in the area because the markets have been transformed. Just a few kilometers away is the growing market of India. We are having very close ties with China, and in the next couple of years there will be large-scale investment by Chinese in the manufacturing sector. We know that with the Hambantota harbour there will be an export development zone, and we are hoping to have at least 300 new industries, particularly heavy industries, to be located there. So the future is good for the packaging industry. You are very vital because one of the key requirements of the Sri Lankan economy today is value addition. We have very competent people. We have industries which need to transit from bulk exports or low-level exports to high value and value-added products.
Let's take a look at stocks after this break. Welcome back. Trading at Colombo Stock Exchange ended on a negative note today. The all share price index dropped 20.29 points to close at 6,612.91, and the S&P SL 20 dropped 23.53 points to close the session at 3,872.5. The turnover was 352.9 million rupees and 17.7 million shares were traded. Let's take a look at today's forex rates. And now we have this week's dealing room update.
The Sri Lankan rupee closed higher at 153.55 to 153.65 levels on Thursday as exported dollar sales surpassed demand for US dollars from importers. This week, the 3 months premium traded around 260 to 275 cents, while the 1 year premium hovered around 945 to 970 levels. Today, overnight call money rates traded at 8.10% to 8.15% levels, while overnight repo rates traded at 7.50% to 7.55% levels. The Treasury bill yield of 3 months decreased to 8.76% from 8.79%. The 1 year yield increased by 5 basis points to 9.51%, while the 6 month yield remained unchanged at 9.12% at the auction held on the 25th of October 2017. The Treasury bond rates in the secondary market remain at the same levels. Today, the 4-year maturity on the 15th of December 2021 trading around 10.10 to 10.20 levels, while on the 1st of August 2026, maturity 9-year bond traded at 10.30 to 10.40 levels.
Thank you for watching State of Business. See you tomorrow at 7 p.m. with Biz Roundup. Have a fantastic weekend. Take care. Good night.